Hello, Iron. Welcome to your deck review. I see we're calling it Casting Absurdities, and I've read your primer already. It said we want to stall the game out a little bit and then cast Zur later when we can immediately animate 1 to 2 enchantments. And I want to pick that apart. I know we can't talk back and forth right now, but I want you to go and meditate. If you don't like meditation, go and chill with that thought for a minute, because I think it's kind of dumb. Not outrageously dumb. I can see what would lead you to do it, particularly if you play on arena, because playing on arena you're probably used to like a lot of combat pressure, frankly a lot more combat pressure than a bracket 3 game is going to put onto you. um I think for commander, delaying the Zercast does not do a lot for you. Maybe you could delay it until you had 5 mana and you go like curve out into, Rhystic Study, 1 good enchantment, and then animate it instantly. Um, but like, especially when it comes to how do I stall the game out, nothing stalls a game like a Death Toucher, quite frankly. Like, whatever you're worried about in terms of stalling the game until I can cast Zur to start animating stuff, if you just have like a 2 mana enchantment and you're like, yeah, 2/2 Death Touch Lifelink, you're ducking swings for like 3 turns off of that. People are cowards, especially green players. Green players just will not throw their good creatures away. And so I think between a 1/4 and on turn 4 having a Death Touch blocker, that could do more than that will do more than a year of arena will make you think it could do. So I'd consider that. And then let's look at the actual cards you picked. First Strike, great. First Strike, Death Touch, undefeatable combo. Other creatures have Vigilance. I think that is overly cowardly. I think that is probably arena brain talking. Whenever you gain life, put a counter on something. That's probably fine, especially considering everything has lifelink, so you are going to be gaining life no matter what. I think the same goes for Nykthos Paragon. My biggest thing gets to buff my board by that much. I get to make creatures, and I have an indestructible. So I have 3 indestructible blockers, and 1 can give unblockable. I like that. Okay. I like Thaumaturge. That's really clever. Yeah, Spirit Dancer's great. Mirror Maid is great. Draw and Tutor. All the All right, we got the best Enchantress cards, we got the black card draw, we got the Rhystic Study. Perfect. Who could want anything more? Aura God or Demigod? Okay. I'm not totally in love with the God targets for this as a tutor, but I like the flip side enough that I think you can keep it for both sides of it. Uh all creepers fine. I think this is more clever than good, but it is a little bit clever. Game enders. I have flying. I have everything's an enchantment. I have when I gain life, you lose life, so my life link deals you damage. I have flying and vigilance. You deeply overrate flying. Okay, I think you have, it's not terminal, thankfully. We've caught this maybe only in stage 2, but you have arena brain for sure. I'm not totally convinced whether it's brawl brain or 60 card brain, but you are, I think, with your card selection so far, you are really overestimating. Um, I think you're overestimating the damage coming at you and underestimating the damage you need to put out. You have death touching lifelinkers, death touching lifelinking hex-proof creatures. I would be much more concerned with making their power and toughness a little bit more meaty than I would with giving them evasion. They don't need to evade. You win the fight. Clean. You just clean win that motherfucking fight. Um Enchanted Evening as well. I think most of our creatures overlap with enchantment anyway. I'll see in the playtest, but I'm not convinced that this is like a good enough overrun. Now life gain turning into life loss, I believe in that one a little bit more because that is effectively a damage doubler, right? Every point of damage we swing becomes life link, becomes life gain, becomes life loss. That is for you a combat damage doubler. So that almost counts as buffing everything's power. What do we have for interaction? I like Extinguish All Hope. Yojimbo's cute. Snare's cute. Sure. That's not interaction. You lied. You did a little lie or a little mistag. But I do think Ethereal Armor should be in the deck. Mana Tithe is like totally bogus. You can keep this as a pet card, but you have to know in your heart this is a pet card. And when you lose the game because somebody tapped for a spell where they had 2 mana up and you couldn't do anything about it, you were like, that's okay. I had you. And then you explode. Sleep Paralysis is awesome. Nowhere to Run is also fine. Ramp. I am not convinced you want this. Like, Smothering Tithe, obviously, extremely good card. I'm not going to try to talk you out of playing Game Changers, especially if this is one of your first Commander decks, because everybody should play with the shiny toys at least once. But I'm super not in love with Dark Ritual. I don't think you have, like... You have, like, almost nothing that you could stick off of Dark Rit that is valuable enough to make the crackback of that thing getting removed or countered okay. Like, if you were like, oh, I'm going to Dark Rit, stick Necropotence, draw my deck, win with a combo, okay. We are playing enchantment creature mid-range. We do not work with payday loans. I like Fate's Design, because this is something where we can get, like, we can get this down in the late game and then kind of double up on our value. Glimmer's okay because it's an enchantment creature. I don't love Sten. Sten is like a 2-mana setup piece who doesn't even set up our commander that well. Starfield Mystic is fine, but again, I don't super believe in him. I think there are just like enchantments we could play instead. What's our recursion looking like? All right, end step, get a coin counter. When a creature with a coin counter dies, get it back. All right, sick. Get an enchantment back, sick. Baelmerk? We have 32 creatures, so I think this is probably fine. Redress Fate, great. Resurgent Belief, great. Stax, okay. Stony Silence, Propaganda, Ghostly Prison, Deafening Silence. I think these two are overrated for your deck because, again, the death-touching lifelinkers. Cannot overrate that. Stony Silence is fine, but if we're doing Stony Silence, we 100% should not be doing Artifact Ramp. Deafening Silence is weird to me because, like, this is kind of what you want to be doing eventually. Maybe not. Maybe you just want to dump mana and go enchantment, animate enchantment. So I'll let it rock for now. We're a little bit low on lands. We have a massive sideboard. Let me just see how this currently builds up. But I've got some ideas in my head. We hit no lands. Beautiful. We hit 2 lands. All right, 2 lands, but we have all the best card draw in the game. So I go land, and here we can see in action, I have the choice between stick good enchantment, stick mana rock. I would almost always rather stick good enchantment. I stick good enchantment. Go to my pre-combat main phase, I mill 3. I get Dark Rit, who again, I don't want to work in payday loans. My deck is too pip heavy. My stake, too juicy, but too juicy in too many colors of the rainbow. So we take none of these back. I mean, this is probably the only guy worth taking back. Yeah, and we don't have other reanimation. Okay, so we pay to get Zur back. This fucking enters tapped, so we can't use the mana rock. I'm not gonna pay this turn because we have to start doing something. I play Zur. Next turn. 1, 2, 3. I have my land drop. This does not really do anything. So they stay in the graveyard. We get our land. We play Zur. I only have one way to make a white pip, so I can't even animate on this turn. So now I will Signet with my extra mana. But I go tutor like 3 or less. If Rhystic Study wasn't in our hand, it would be Rhystic Study. I will do Black Market Connections. Alright, and now I can really start animating shit. So I can get... I'd have an extra card and I'd have a treasure. I'd probably do... Courage, Study, Track Treasure, Animate Study. And from here, most things are fine. But it took me a couple turns to do this. Ripples of Undeath made that a little bit clunkier than I wanted. And then here we have somehow no lands. We have 2 lands, which do not fix our pips. We have 2 lands, which do not fix our pips. At long last, we get 3 lands, and we get an enchantment creature. Okay, so here's what I think has to happen for the deck. We have to go up on lands, at least a couple. These hands are really, really bad, and if you want to have this few lands, you do need to keep the artifact ramp. I don't think the artifact ramp is serving you that much. I think you would rather just like curve out decent enchantments or decent enchantment creatures. And so you probably want to be at like 38 to 40 lands rather than I think the like 35 that we're currently on. Oh, we're on 37. So add probably 3, go to 40. The stuff in the deck that I think is not serving you that well. Definitely Restoration of Igancho. Enchanted Evening, Archetype of Imagination, Soaring Lightbringer, and Hollowed Haunting. Not because these aren't good cards, but because of where they currently exist in your psychology. I need you to get rid of the idea that my, 4/4 having flying is going to be enough to finish this game. What's going to be enough is you want like... Bing, bang, boom. Bing, bang, boom. This enchantment or any others enter +1/+1 my whole board. Fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. I'm the greatest. I'm the biggest and the largest. We can look at this tag to see if there's other stuff that'll do it. Only a handful. That shrines. We don't have green. Celestial Ancient's kind of cute, but I think it's a little bit of a trap. So other things we can do are other enchantments that just are banners. So there are things like Flowering of the White Tree, which is a 2-mana enchantment that is also a banner. You could do Cathar's Crusade, but I think that's a little bit greedy. You could do creature-based banners. You could do things like Crackerhoof as a finisher. Because we do have to remember, if you are going to end the game, you are going to end the game by having a relatively wide board of enchantment creatures. And so all the things that work for non-enchantment creature decks to end the game will also work for you to end the game. So what else could fit in well under that umbrella? Oh, right. Other things that are hurting you. nowhere to run, Manatithe, and negate. I think negate. You would rather just have counterspell. It doesn't need to be that narrow. I also don't 100% believe in Sten, and then like I said before, I don't super believe in the mana rocks, but those mulligans were very, very unlucky. So I would go up in lands. God definitely hates you because you run Rhystic Study. So other ways we can make this work or make this slow the game down is to have you put in more enchantments that are removal enchantments. So more things like you have static snare already, but more things that are like Grasp of Fate. Now a lot of people underrate this card because they go, "Oh man, I steal something from each opponent, but then somebody uses removal and they get it all back." Here's the beauty of Grasp of Fate. You play it. You look around the table and you go, I wonder who has removal. You rob everybody but them. Never goes away. If you think Sarah has the Oops All Enchantment removal deck, gets rid of any permanent she wants, don't steal from Sarah. Wait. Do something else to Sarah. If Joey has the enchantment removal, don't steal from Joey. Wait. Or better yet, you can play this if you have your commander out, then animate it, then it has hexproof. But there's a million little shits like this. And so if you want to stall the game out, I wouldn't do it as much through like stacks or through Manatithe. I would just be like, ooh, I play an enchantment, gobble, gobble, gobble. Gobble, gobble, gobble in my tummy. Then it becomes hexproof, then it has lifelink and death touch, and then I try to stick either an anthem or something that gives it like first strike. And then I think you're off to the races. But I do think we're missing a lot. Or I think we're missing a lot with how heavily we're rating flying right now. You also could do Doomlake Giant if you want to be a real piece of shit. You want to be a real evil, evil, evil person. We have that one. I would recommend Dusty Parlor Secret Arcade over that Enchanted Evening if you want a 1-for-1 swap, because this is an enchantment that you can lay down, and then every future enchantment will buff one of your existing ones, and then for 5 mana later, you can get effectively the same outcome as what Enchanted Evening was doing, where all of your non-enchantment creatures are now enchantment creatures. We looked at Celestial Ancient. I think that one's a bit slow. Okay. And then from here, I would begin looking into what are enchantments that give creatures anthems. So more along the lines of archetype of courage, but looking for things that do it even more bigly. So we want type, enchantment, O-tag, anthem, commander, esper. We have Flowering of the White Tree. We have Boon of the Spirit Realm. Marshall's Anthem doesn't do anything. Wings of Gold doesn't. This is birds. Dictate of Heliod does do it. It's kind of bad, but that's the beauty of Commander. We're not really having things leave the battlefield. That is enchanted creatures, not enchantment creatures. Those are tokens. What's the one? I'm thinking of like True Conviction. What's the tag for that? Yeah, double strike lifelink. That's what I love to see. Sure, dude. Gives double strike. Hell yeah. Commander Esper. Duelist Heritage. That will also fucking save you really quickly. I just mentioned True Conviction. This is only for your commander. This takes 1,000,000 mana before it does anything. That's only for stuff with counters. Only if we already have first strike. That's dragons. That's really slow. Ugh, we're not going to be able to get many of these. Yeah. Okay, so I think the only big ones for that are True Conviction and Duelist Heritage, but the way I want to posit it to you is first strike and double strike are the keywords that are going to make you win combat. I don't think you need to worry very much about evasion, because if you worry a lot about evasion, what that does is it makes you better at attacking, but it doesn't make you any better at blocking. If you have first strike or double strike, you win every attack and you win every block. I don't think you need more ramp. I think the only synergy pieces and bombs you're missing are, again, focus more on giving first strike or double strike, or focus on buffing power toughness. This deck definitely can work. I think you are light on removal, and I think you should look to bring in more of the things that are like 3 mana enchantment. I play you, I steal. Ondu Spirit Dancer is very feasible. I just wouldn't rely on it happening that often. Right? Like, yeah, this is a good card. This is a good card. And then from there, I think you're 100% good to go. Like, you have good card draw engines. You don't have 1,000,000 pieces of it, but you probably hit like 1 or more engines a game. And then you have some tutors as well to help with that. Yeah, we just need ways for a 2/2 with Death Touch to be more imposing. And whether that is they grow because I put counters on them with Dusty Parlor, or they have double strike every turn, so the 2/2 is not imposing, but maybe the 4/4 gets scary, or I have like a board-wide anthem going up, or I have Flowering of the White Tree and like 2 other +1/+1 anthems. We need some confluence to start beefing more heavily with our opponent's board states. And if we don't want to do that, then you have to like rebuild and go fully into how do I combo off with Zur and just have like 1 enchantment to chump block. So I hope that helps, and I hope you have a great day.